When people search for 2015 Ford Fusion review, they're usually trying to answer one question. Is this 2015 Ford Fusion actually reliable? Well, I don't have to guess. I bought this 2015 Ford Fusion SE brand new with roughly about 11 miles on the odometer. Almost 289,000 miles later, I finally sold it. Today, I'm going to share my complete 2015 Ford Fusion ownership experience, including every major repair, the maintenance I performed, what broke, what never broke, and whether I would recommend buying a used 2015 Ford Fusion today. If you're researching Ford Fusion reliability or wondering if the Ford Fusion 2.5 liter engine is a good choice, this video is for you. Why I bought the 2015 Ford Fusion SE. Back in 2015, I wasn't shopping for the fastest midsize sedan. I was looking for a reliable daily driver that I could keep for a very long time. That's why I specifically chose the 2015 Ford Fusion SE with the 2.5 naturally aspirated Duratec four-cylinder engine. I intentionally avoided the turbocharged EcoBoost models. Turbocharged engines can make more power, but they also add more complexity, and over time can require expensive turbocharger repairs. I also like that this Fusion came with the conventional 6-speed automatic transmission instead of the more complex transmission design. You know, the CTV, the dreaded CTV, right? For me, reliability was more important than horsepower. And trust me, this car is slow. One of the questions people always ask is, what maintenance did you do to keep a 2015 Ford Fusion running for almost 300,000 miles? Honestly, it was nothing unusual. I changed the oil at about every 9 or 10,000 miles. Every so often I went over to 2 to 3,000 miles. So sometimes it'll be like a 13,000 mile change interval. Yeah, and I know that's longer than many people recommend, but there were even a few occasions where I went a couple thousand miles past that. Even so, this Ford Fusion 2.5 engine never developed any major internal engine problems. That's almost 300,000 miles of trouble-free driving. I also got to mention that I did change the transmission fluid about roughly every 80,000 miles. I think the manual recommended closer to 50, but you know, life be life. And I really believe regular fluid changes help this transmission last as long as it did. Now the problems, right? No vehicle is perfect, and this Fusion certainly wasn't. The biggest recurring repair I dealt with involved the wheel bearings. It seemed like I was replacing them things every 50 to 75,000 miles, like clockwork. Around 150,000 miles, I also replaced the front struts, excuse me. The suspension components were probably the weakest part of this car. I also experienced an occasional transmission clunk. Every few months, I'd go like from park into drive or reverse into drive, and I heard this clunk. I took it to the dealership a couple times. They never found the cause. But what's interesting is the transmission continued operating normally for the rest of the time I owned the car. That clunk never affected drivability. It never stranded me. It was more of a occasional annoyance. I also had the transmission shift cable fail twice, but and that left the car stuck in park. And both times those were covered under a Ford recall. There was also a recall involving the door latch where it caused the door to get stuck open. I couldn't close the driver door, but again, Ford repaired that under recall at no cost to me. Now, what never broke? And let's talk about what impressed me. The 2.5 Duratec engine, the 2.5 liter Duratec engine. No major engine repairs. Also, the 6-speed automatic transmission was still operating when I sold the car. It did hard shift a little, like going to probably third to fourth gear. I felt a little hard shift, but man, the car had 300,000 miles. It still drove. It still rolled perfectly. The air conditioner still blew ice cold. In fact, I never serviced the air conditioner. Never put any extra Freon in it, or got it oiled. It's from 11 miles to 300,000. The AC, that was the same AC with a components in when I bought it. Well, when I finally sold the car with almost 290,000 miles, everything still worked. The only thing that I noticed was cracking in the front axle boots. When I sold the car, the front axle boots were cracking a little bit. But still, after 300,000 miles, that's pretty impressive. Now let's compare this car with something many people consider the benchmark for reliability. My wife owned a 2015 Camry we purchased on the same day. Overall, the Camry rode better, it's quieter, it feels a little more refined, but here's what surprised me. Over all those years of ownership, we actually spent more money repairing the Camry than we spent repairing the Fusion. That doesn't automatically make the Fusion a better car, but it does show why I encourage people to evaluate this specific engine, transmission, maintenance history, and ownership costs, not just a badge on the hood. Now, the big question: would I buy another used Ford Fusion? Absolutely. I paid about 18,000 with some incentives for the 2015 Ford Fusion SE when it was brand new, 11 miles. After nearly 290,000 miles, I sold it for around $3,600. Looking back, I'd absolutely buy another Ford Fusion with the naturally aspirated 2.5 liter engine. It wasn't the fastest, it wasn't the fanciest, but it was dependable, affordable to maintain, and comfortable enough for daily driving. And it delivered exactly what I wanted in a mid-size sedan. One of the reasons I created Coyote Intelligence is because I wanted to document real ownership experiences like this. Anyone can review a car after driving it for a day. Very few people can tell you what it's like to own a 2015 Ford Fusion for nearly 300,000 miles. That's what this channel is going to be about. Real ownership, real maintenance, real reliability. If you own a Ford Fusion, I'd love to hear from your experience. How many miles are on yours? What repairs have you made? Leave a comment below. And if you're interested in Ford reliability, use Ford buying guides, Mustang content, Ford engine reviews, and long-term ownership experience, consider subscribing to Coyote Intelligence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.